Hi everyone, my name is Sumit Kumar Chaudhary. Today is my presentation, and my presentation subject is Legal Perspective on Corporate Governance Lessons from Recent Australian Failure. So the first slide is Corporate Governance in Australia. Failures of corporate governance in Australia in recent times, spanning Crown Resort and Rio Tinto, have been a point of concern. Effective corporate governance is important for legal compliance and ethical corporate behavior. This presentation is about educating on the legal perspective of best practices of corporate governance. Legal professionals who advise a client on corporate governance need to understand this principle. Over the past few years, large corporate failures like Crown Resort and Rio Tinto have shown gaping holes in the Australian form of corporate governance. The occurrence of these incidents have also led to the need for a legal compliance and ethical governance framework. Effective corporate governance is not only important to ensure legality but also to secure the stakeholders' trust. These principles are very important for legal professionals to understand when advise a client. Through the literary reviews Canada and covered on which includes the annexo, this paper explore best practice and legal expectation recording in corporate governance. The second slide is seven key principles of Australian corporate governance. So the first key is board composition and structure. The second key is director's duties and responsibilities. The third key is risk management and internal controls. The fourth key is disclosure and transparency. The five key is shareholder rights and engagement. Six key is ethical corporate culture. Seven key is regulatory compliance. This slide summarizes the basics of the principle which are truly the basis upon which good corporate governance in Australia is built. Board composition is critical and first as Almagil put it, diverse and independent board oversees better. It is unethical to act as a director without fulfilling the duties specified in legal frameworks. Langford discusses risk management system that assist in the identification and control of threats. Transparency and timely disclosure create trust. Stakeholder engagement promotes accountability. Finally, long-term success is fostered in an ethical culture. And last but not least, legal and regulatory compliance is a non-negotiable foundation for any corporation. The third slide is an overview of three most important factors. So the three key critical factors are directors' duties and responsibilities, ethical corporate and culture, and the third number is risk management. These are things that they need to be governance and legal compliance, pride, effective corporate accountability, ethical behavior, and risk migration directly. If these areas can be focused on, then governance failure will be prevented and corporate reputation increased. Each principle is important, however, there are three which have a greatest foundation impact: director duties, ethical corporate culture, and risk management. These pillars make sure the company acts responsibly, complies with all legal requirements, and diminishes possible risk. Organizations can avoid such governance failures as exhibited by Crown Resort and Rio Tinto by giving this priority. When advising corporate client, the legal team should emphasize these principles since they will affect corporate behavior, adding reputation and bearing business in line with stakeholder expectation and legal standard. The fourth slide is director duties and responsibility, legal and ethical factors. Directors are obligated to act in good faith and to focus on interested of the company. As a result, they must exercise due care and diligence and avoid conflict and interest. Directors should therefore be ethically transparent and accountable within the organization. According to the Corporation Act 2001, these duties must be obeyed. 5 slide is the effectiveness and case example. So adherence to director's duties is effective and not adhered to is cause irresponsible decision making and illegally disprice in direction's duty resulting in legal consequences emergent from the Crown Resort inquiry. It is clear from such failures that directors should fulfill their legal obligations. However, performing these duties properly helps create trust and corporate integrity. Responsible governance is achieved through directors who fulfill their duties. As Hargovan discusses, branches of these duties were presented prominently at the Crown Resort inquiry, the lack of prevention and unethical practices and important relationship. The failures not only damaged the company's reputation but also necessitated legal investigations and reforms. The case offers a late where directors neglected their roles. A proper duty fulfillment leads to legal companies ensure integrity of the organization and in turn the companies of the firm. Slide number 6, ethical corporate culture, legal and ethical features. A culture of integrity, transparency, and accountability is what an ethical corporate culture is about. For starting, such a culture can also be legally done of mitigate risk and avoid misconduct. Ethical culture is socially correct and facilitate the good perspective of the corporation. The content of is included codes of conduct and ethical guidelines to be followed by each employee. Slide number 7, ethical corporate culture, effectiveness and case example. A strong ethics culture can stop corporate scandals and other legal problems. Georg meant that Rio Tinto was distorting with disrated to ethical consideration and incited public outcry and leadership changes. Ethical corporate culture neglect is exemplary in this case. For a sustainable, successful organization, it is required to promote the ethics of it. Weak ethical oversight is this instance Rio Tinto Zukan George is so clear because it has consequences but no matter the legal compliance. The company's district course global black has and leadership turnover. The importance of this case lies in showing how breaking ethical standard while not strictly illegal can result in very several repollution harm and stakeholder disturb. With this in mind, an ethical culture is a necessity, not an ideal obligated to show legal professional must assist organization in embedding ethics in all operational levels. Slide number 8, risk management and internal controls, legal and ethical features. Risk management is the act of figuring out, evaluating, and lessening promotional corporate risk, such as companies are legally obligated to have internal controls in place. Protective risk management essentially better of stakeholders from protective and business continuity. Organizational resilience is dependent on comprehensive risk framework. Slide number 9. Risk management and internal control effectiveness and case example. There are risk management practices that protect from financial and reputation damage. It, however, emphasizes the need for a risk management in financial institutions. This can cost their organization severe legal and financial if proper risk management is not done. Internal controls are a must not to keeping the corporate stable. And all over the presentation conclusion. Based on foundational to corporate governance are directors' duties, ethical culture, and risk management. It is useful to learn from past failure, such as those to Crown, Resort, and Rio Tinto. This principle make the process of implementation easier as they promote legal compliance and ethical corporate behavior. These practices are the path to sustainable success and corporate integrity. Therefore, this presentation consider three pivotal pillars of corporate governance, namely directors' duties, ethical culture, and risk management. These are also legal requirements as well as ethical imperatives for protecting stakeholders and supporting sustainable business practice. The real world consequences of weak of neglected governance come as a reminder of failure Crown Resort and Rio Tinto. The time has come for legal professionals to be protective in advising governance-based practice and arrange corporate clients to abide the law so corporate forest cultures of integrity and accountability. And this all are is reference. So my presentation is finished. Thank you so much.